All right. Well, we can go ahead and get started. I know it turned out to be a gorgeous morning, which we're all excited about. But thank you so much for coming, everyone. We are just really excited to kick off Crash Responder Safety Week. We, of course, have a mock crash scene behind us, which we'll show everyone once the speakers are done. But first, I'm going to introduce our Director of Health and Safety Division, Jay Norris.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Jay Norris. I am the Director of Safety for TDOT. Will, do you want to deal with that before I get going? Okay. Thank you. Today marks the beginning of Crash Responder Safety Week. And our transportation system is a very dangerous place to work. And if you can look out in the crowd, you can see a lot of people in police uniforms, and you see people in high visibility vests. And they're out there every day putting their lives on the line to make sure that people get home safe every night. I want to mention that there's a saying that a cord of three strands is not easily broken, and we're very fortunate to get to talk about that saying today because I think it applies to the work we do in incident management, because we don't have a cord of three strands, we have one of 5 or 6. And I do want to recognize the role that Tennessee Highway Patrol plays, Metro Police Department, Nashville Fire Department, our emergency responders, our wrecker service, and finally our TDOT help program. And those strong partnerships are what makes incident management work. And we have to have those in place to have success on the side of the road. And I do want to talk briefly about our help truck program. We just finished our 21st year in our help program in the Nashville area. This program, it deals with, I'm sure you've all seen our yellow trucks on the side of the road, and their mission is very simple. They want to make sure that quick clearance occurs so that our congestion is reduced, and they also want to be sure that families get home every night so they can cook dinner, coach baseball, teach Sunday school. We want to make sure that our Tennesseans are healthy and they're living their best lives out there. I am a little concerned about what's happening on the side of our road, in the sense that we've had, in September, we had one of our help truck operators involved in a crash. Bill Thompson was helping a family of 4 on the side of the road. His vehicle was struck and pushed into the family's vehicle while it was being worked on. Everybody walked away from that scene, but it speaks to the trouble that is happening on our transportation system in these days with driver behaviors. And I cannot speak at this event without making sure that we talk about Mr. J.R. Rogers. He was one of our TDOT family. He was a help operator, and on Christmas Eve 2016, he was assisting a family to make sure they got home for Christmas. It was not far from here on I-40 near the dam, and a vehicle lost control and struck Mr. Rogers, and he died a couple days later. And that speaks to the danger that our employees face every day. And that's why we're here today talking about these things. So with that mentioned, I do want to quickly talk about driver behavior. Since the pandemic has occurred, we've had a reduction in volume on our system, but we've had an increase in speed on our system, which creates more kinetic energy, and our serious crashes move to fatalities, our minor crashes move to serious crashes, and speeds have continued to be an issue. Distracted driving has continued to be an issue. Motorists not wearing their seatbelts has continued to be an issue. These have all played into higher fatality numbers on our transportation system, and this is very concerning for our folks that work on the side of the road. Their job is to make sure that folks go home every night, and at TDOT we want to make sure that they go home every night. This is priority 1 for us. So with all that said, legislation was passed in 2017 for the Move Over Slow Down law, and I want to speak to you guys about that, is that we want to make sure that the public knows that they need to move over and slow down when they see an emergency vehicle. It's the law. and we want to make sure that they're safe, that our folks are supported, and they can do what they need to do to get motorists home every night. So last thing I'd like to mention is that this being the beginning of Crash Responder Safety Week, Governor Lee has signed a proclamation in honor of that to recognize the work that these folks do. And this isn't just our TDOT help operators. These are these strong partnerships that play into this as well. So Metro Fire, Metro Police Department, our wrecker services, emergency services, they all have a role to play in this. And the only way we can be successful with incident management is by working together and make sure that these guys are safe. So with that said, I'd like to introduce Stephanie Milano with AAA to talk about the fatalities and safety on our system. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Stephanie Milano with AAA, and at the core of what we do is we rescue motorists on the side of the road. Those who do that rescuing are our tow truck operators and our service technicians. They are on the side of the road, just like the first responders are for crashes, helping our members when they break down or when a crash occurs. Now, since 2007, AAA has worked to get slow down, move over laws passed in all of the states that do include first responders, tow truck drivers, and we're also working in events like this to educate the public that there are slow down, move over laws in all of the states, and to let the public know exactly what that means. Now, there is some work to be done, and AAA is committed to raising the awareness of those laws. A startling statistic came up when we asked Tennessee drivers if they had been in a crash or in a near miss with emergency vehicles. Almost 1 in 5 drivers in Tennessee have been in a crash or in a near miss with emergency vehicles on the side of the road. Now, a lot of that we can say it's due to distracted driving, to speed again, and all of those are true. We know from previous research from the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety, you're 4 times more likely to be in a crash if you're on a cell phone, if you're talking on a cell phone, yes, even if it's hands-free. And you're 8 times more likely to be in a crash if you're texting. You're simply distracted, your brain is distracted, your hands are not doing what they're supposed to do, and neither is your brain. So we ask that in order to protect our roadside workers, these are some precautionary tips that we're offering drivers. First of all, remain alert and avoid those distractions, not just your cell phone, but yes, that is a big one. It can be the argument that you just had with a coworker or the discussion that you had with your spouse, or it can be trying to feed your kids in the back seat as you're driving. Keep an eye out for those situations that you see cars stopping, cars are putting their brakes on. Look farther down the road so that you can respond. And finally, when you do come up on even a disabled vehicle, but certainly the first responders with their lights and sirens on, make sure that you're slowing down and you're moving over a lane away from them so that they have more margin to do their work. And the final thing that I'll say, I know we've talked about speed. We are seeing more speed-related crashes. We have yard signs at all of the AAA offices that say, slow down Tennessee, slow down Knoxville, slow down Nashville. If you are concerned about that, go pick up a sign. They are free. Put that out in your yard to encourage your neighbors to slow down. Put it out in front of your business to encourage those that drive by to slow down and help us to save some lives. Thank you.
This time I'd like to introduce and recognize Commissioner Jeff Long with the Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Thank you, Jay, and good morning, everyone. And first, let me commend the agencies that are here today and represented. It takes a team effort and dedication to keep our roadways safe. No one agency can do this alone. I'm proud and excited for us to build upon our strong relationships with one another, and the public will only benefit for it. This is a great week of Crash Responder Safety Week. It provides us an excellent opportunity to educate and raise awareness to our motoring public about roadway safety during traffic incidents. At the same time, it gives us the opportunity to share our common goal for safe and effective clearance. Last year, at least 25 first responders were killed or injured while working incidents on the roadway. So far in 2021, that number is at least 26. That's 26, way too many. The move over law requires motorists to move over into an adjacent lane of traffic when safe to do so, or alternatively to slow down when approaching emergency vehicles, including recovery vehicles, highway maintenance vehicles, solid waste vehicles, or utility service vehicles. Essentially, the law applies to any responder vehicle with audible or visual signals the driver may see on Tennessee roadways. And it doesn't stop just there. If you see any vehicle on the side of the road, do the courteous and right thing by moving over or slowing down. When you don't slow down, your vehicle becomes a dangerous weapon that can easily destroy public property and lives of innocent people. Those people have families and loved ones just like you. On June 12, 2005, Trooper Rodney Redmond was struck by a car while he was conducting a traffic stop in Loudoun County on I-75 at the Tennessee River Bridge. He was assisting two vehicles that had been involved in an accident when his crash occurred. Trooper Redmond did not sustain serious injuries from the accident and was released from the hospital that same night. Since that time, Trooper Redmond has become an outspoken proponent of the move over law. On June 8, 2005, Trooper Todd Larkins initiated a traffic stop along I-40 in Dixon County. After exiting his vehicle, Trooper Larkins was struck and killed by a tractor trailer that failed to move over. Our department proudly supports the move over law and will continue to enforce it. So far this year, the Tennessee Highway Patrol has investigated 59 move over crashes and has written 785 move over citations. It's imperative that we continue to promote and to educate the motoring public about this law to prevent serious injury, crashes, and fatalities. By simply moving over or slowing down, lives will be saved. Please allow our men and women to go home to their families at the end of the day. Their officers are on the side of the road assisting the motor public. Please move over and take care of them. Thank you.
In summary, our first responders do incredible work, and the reason they're successful is through strong partnerships, and our motoring public is part of that partnership, and it's imperative that they understand their role to play is to move over and slow down and make sure that our folks go home safe every night. With that, I'll turn it over to Rebecca to wrap things up. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. We're going to wrap things up. Over here on the table with the AAA tablecloth, you can see we've got some resources for everyone. AAA has some folders with some of the statistics and information that Stephanie shared. We also have copies of the governor's proclamation for this week, if you'd like to take back with you. And we have some laminated move over, slow down signs that we would love for you to take back to your respective offices, departments, newsrooms. That way you guys can share the message, take pictures, tag us, whatever you can do. We thank you so much. And behind us, we invite everyone to participate in the mock crash this morning. I don't know if you can see, but Stephanie and I were in a rush to get here. So we got in a crash. So we have all of the partnering agencies coming to our aid, and this is what we see on a regular basis on our